If you move to Minnesota from the South, are you really going to regret it? Hi all, I'm Mary Schumann. I am a realtor here in the Twin Cities, and thanks to YouTube, I help a lot of people who are moving here from out of state. So on my channel, I try to give information that I think would be helpful for people that are in that situation and trying to make those types of decisions. If this is you, you should probably hit the subscribe button. It would be helpful to you. I've been in that position myself, and I know how hard it is. So because my clients are the absolute best, and I really mean that sincerely, I have been able to convince a few of them to give their perspectives on making this enormous change. I even have a playlist going of those that have agreed to do these interviews with me, and I'll link to that playlist at the end. A lot of Texans seem to make this leap, and today I wanted to give my former client Susanna the opportunity to give her perspective on what it was like to move to Texas from Minnesota. They made this move in summer, and they've been here now over, I'm wincing. It was a very long and super snowy winter. I told her not to sugarcoat her answers, so she and her family have really jumped in with both feet here, and I really wanted her to share what it's been like now that she and her family have been here for a little while. So does she have regrets? We'll find out. I put chapters in the description box down below this video, so you can go to that section if there's something that's more interesting to you, but this was mainly a conversation that she agreed to have with me, and I really tried not to edit it very much and just let Susanna tell her story about their move. So there is a free relocation guide that you can download in the description box for this below this video, and my contact information is down there as well. So I hope this video and that relo guide are helpful to you, and that if you have questions, you feel free to reach out and ask. I'm here for that very reason. All right, so thank you, Susanna, for your generosity. I really do appreciate it.
I am Susanna. We moved up here last summer from Austin, Texas area with my husband and my 8-year-old daughter. We moved for the most part for work. My husband's job, he's in the medical field, and for what he was doing for his level of management, there wasn't anything open where we were. There was no opportunity for growth. So I think climate refugee is accurate also. He was, for one, looking for work up here, which he had tons of opportunities with several different hospital systems, which is what we were looking for. We just hate the heat. We hate uncontrollably hot heat, super hot sun. We just can't deal with it. And fire ants, that kind of stuff.
I'm actually the same way. Like right now in my fantasy world, because we're doing this in the early April, and it's after, we're going to go a little bit off kilter here, but like this winter has been astonishingly hard.
And it's good to hear that, because everyone keeps telling us, you're doing great, this is a terrible winter, this is your first winter.
Yeah, and it's like, so you left all that heat and now you're here, and are you thinking like, what did we trade for? Like,
no, we love it, because we actually do now get the 4 seasons. And in fact, my daughter keeps telling us that last summer, because we got here at the beginning of summer, last summer was the first summer she's actually been able to enjoy being outside her whole life.
And did she enjoy winter outside?
She has, yeah. But we, really threw ourselves into it.
You sure did.
we got the snowshoes. We took the cross-country skiing lessons, which were terrible for us. That was not our thing. Snowshoeing was great.
I'm going to interrupt you just to say cross-country skiing is not a lot of people's things.
It was not our thing.
It's very hard.
It was hard, and there's so much going on here everywhere. I mean, we went to the ice castles out in New Brighton, and that was amazing. It was like nothing I'd seen. And then we also have the Tamarack Nature Center. It's right by our house, so there's all sorts of paths to snowshoe in. And
that is a really pretty area.
Yeah, and we couldn't find as much maybe you can help me after the interview figure this part out. Free skate time places.
Oh,
there's a lot
indoor?
Indoor.
Okay.
There's a lot of hockey and classes and all. What we need to do is learn where the outdoor rinks are.
And ice time is at a premium, and it is expensive. So if you are hockey and you're adults, they typically make you on the ice at like 11 o'clock at night. That's how hard it is to get ice time. So if you're looking for skating, I would say the way we do it is just outdoor skating on the local pond.
That's what we're going to look to do. And that's how my daughter, her first experience, I said, you know what, the ice looks kind of shiny out in front of our house because we're on the lake. And she just went out with her skates and her dad and just started skating on it.
And most times, I don't know, like maybe there's not as many kids right next door to you or something, but oftentimes somebody's just going to take their snowblower or shovel out there and like clear the rink. And then a lot of times people will bring a hose and like...
Yep, one of our neighbors did that. They actually had a pump
That's
to
like
do
there's a Zamboni. And so, what did you think winter would be like? Did it meet your expectations? Was it better or worse? And how do you feel that Minnesota treats winter?
Well, everyone we know that we've met here has been diving into winter. There's lots of people skiing and skating and hockey, tons of all the kids playing hockey. It came on a little earlier than I expected. Like it was, Halloween-ish, I believe. Like
That's when we get it.
And my husband, we all joke because he lived here in the famous Halloween 1991.
But no one ever stops talking about the blizzard.
Right. But it was pretty exciting. One of the things that I have not done well is Texas Christmas decorations. These low-to-the-ground lights and things that line the sidewalks and all these things were immediately buried, like before December 1st. So they're starting to emerge now that the snow is...
So go high.
Yeah, right. They're starting to emerge. And so now I can...
It's April and they're starting to emerge. So did you think it was worse, or did you think it was what you expected, or you didn't know? And
I thought it was what I expected, but some of the warnings I got, I think they were more for, it felt like it was more for north, like Duluth area. I felt like this is normal. This is what I was supposed to expect, that I was supposed to have this emergency pack in my car at all times and have 800 pairs of socks with me and all kinds of shovels and ice picks in the car. And just
Did you need any of that?
No, I didn't need any of it.
Do you drive a SUV? Or?
We do. Yeah.
You do?
Well, and we got good tires.
Yes.
And the first, we made sure that we did things that we needed to do for the house before winter as soon as we got there in the summer. So one of the first things we did was get the fence put in before the ground froze, and the gutters, and sealing the driveway before the snow would tear it up again.
The gutters are going to be huge for you right now. What were your fears or considerations when you were thinking about the move?
So the biggest fear thinking about our move is leaving behind all the friends and family. Because we've been in Texas, I've been in Texas all of my adult life, and my parents are still there and our families. So, but, and then the cost of it. The cost was going to be expensive, but...
The actual,
the cost of the move itself.
Right, so the cross-country aspect of it.
The cross-country aspect.
Even the cost of selling your home in Texas probably was...
Right. Now, Texas's market was, especially where we were, very hot at the time too. We sold at almost the perfect time.
You did.
We did not have to get a rental truck. I mean, we got a big moving truck, and we did not get that at the perfect time because it was that 2-week period at the beginning of the Ukrainian war where the gas prices were the absolute highest. And so that, now it's better. So, but we had that, time when we had to move then. But that was all rolled into the house sale price too, of the house in Austin.
Like you just knew that was an expense you were going to have to do.
The other concern was just making new friends and...
you were such an extrovert.
Well, and it's funny because, so So one of the things that we were going to talk about was some of the misconceptions, maybe. I've been told by a lot of people that, you know, Minnesotans are friendly, very nice, but it can be hard to break into friendship circles and things like that. Even for people who grew up here but went away for college, they come back and they find it's hard to get back in touch with people. We have maybe been lucky, or that's not our experience. Everyone's been super friendly.
And are they native Minnesotans?
Yes. Now, you know, one of our neighbors, she came to us before our moving truck even got to the house. Like, came over with the kids and introduced herself. And all summer long last summer, they invited us out. Several of the neighbors invited us out on the boat and around to, you know, do fun things. Do you mind
mentioning where you live, what town you're in?
I love where we live. So
I love that you just said that too, because I love your town too.
So we live in White Bear Lake, and it's just north of St. Paul. We were looking at houses that were single-family homes. Who wanted it to be 23 minutes away from my husband's work, so that area, and something with a good school district. So we looked at all different things online, and we were trying to figure out neighborhoods and school zones, and this house popped up. We saw it first. Whenever it popped up, we had to jump on it like that day.
It was a crazy market when you guys were buying too. Like, I mean,
yeah,
things were going in a day or two.
And that's
it's still kind of that way.
And we knew that was going to be the case. So we knew we had to sell our house back home first. So we had money to play with for the bidding process. And
to not have a contingency.
And right. And so this house pops up, and we decide, okay, we got to look at the area real quick. Because I hadn't looked at White Bear Lake yet, and everything looked amazing. The little downtown.
Super charming.
And we are 14 minutes away from St. Paul. We are 23 minutes away from his work, pretty much. And it's the most, I don't know, quaint little artistic town. Super tight community. Everyone's been really friendly. I'm starting to see people I recognize when I go places now.
And you've been here mostly for the winter, so it's like the fact that you're recognizing people means that people are out.
Their downtown is vibrant and busy all year round. And so when we moved in the summer, they have the Market Fest every Thursday night. Which is this ridiculously cool little festival with music and the food trucks and the bouncy stuff for kids. And we did every one of those. We went to every week.
You were saying about Minnesotans, and this is my perception just in general, because I've moved a lot too, but I've heard that same thing. And I think the thing is, you are an extrovert, and it's just, people are people no matter where you go. I think if I went to Indiana or, I don't know, Wisconsin or something, unless I was like willing to talk to people and be out there, it's probably unlikely that they would invite me in either.
Right, exactly.
So you're like a hub. You really are.
So,
I mean, this is why I wanted to talk to Susanna.
No, and we threw ourselves in. And
you did.
Like last summer, we went to everything I could go to, every museum, every festival, every little downtown thing, and the falls, was it Minnehaha Falls? And the stuff it's outrageous how much is around, like all the green spaces, and
I think that too.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad to hear this, because I feel like a lot of times people move from other places that aren't as accessible. And I mean that from either a walking, biking, or driving perspective. Like when we lived in Chicago, it would take us an hour to go a couple miles.
Right.
And I mean,
coming from where we were in the Austin area, the traffic is sort of notoriously tough there. There's not good routes to go places. So I'm amazed at how fast I can get around places. Like yesterday, last minute, I wanted to go from where we were, north of St. Paul, over to Wayzata.
Which is
far away, but it was still like 39 minutes. But in Texas driving, that's like going to the grocery store.
Oh my gosh, I would die. I would. Was there anything else that I missed? Because like I just asked you, we kind of got detoured, but I was asking you about like concerns and worries about, and like, so you're finding making friends okay.
Yep.
Your community's good. The expense you kind of knew was coming.
Right.
Was there anything else?
I was wanting a really good experience for my daughter with school. This is a huge move at 8 years old, cross country. And the school has been amazing. It's a small town school, and it feels like a small town school. And although
and you left a good situation where she had a lot of friends right on her street and
right.
stuff like that. So
that was kind of tough. But she's been making the kind of friends where the moms are calling me up like, "Hey, does Hazel want a play date? We want to have her over." And I couldn't ask for more with that.
I wish I.
Well, I mean, the climate for sure, and the ability to be near a real city with huge art stuff. That was one big thing. I have been missing being around world-class museums.
Really?
And
I
yeah.
thought Austin had. I've never been to Austin.
You would think it would. It didn't have as much as what you would want there, and there's a lot more for children here too. There's a lot in the way of the children's museums, and the larger museums do things a lot more for children as well. So that was a big part of it. Music wasn't a big part for me. I know there's a huge theater thing up here. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a big draw for us, but more progressive politics was one. And sort of more balanced progressive politics is what I was looking for too.
Okay, one more question about the difficulty of your move. Like, did you think it was difficult, or did you think it was manageable? And like, you guys did this a little bit differently in that a lot of people, they'll look remotely or they'll come and stay in short-term housing, right. But you guys did it completely differently than anybody else I've ever worked with, and that's great. So how did you guys approach it? So
my husband got the job, and when he got it, it was November, and they said, "We need you here December 1st." And
no rush.
No rush. It was right around Thanksgiving, so we had enough time to have Thanksgiving. And then he drove 16 hours straight. He came up. I found him an apartment up here that was like a mile from his work, and it was about 6 months that he lived here in the apartment working while we finished school for my daughter. And I started, when he left, I started staging the house myself because it's my background. I'm a commercial interior designer, and it's also my background to be, I'm a corporate facilities planner and relocation specialist.
Organized.
So yes, I planned, I've moved like 500 people in one weekend, and all of their computers worked when they got there. We were very lucky. We sold it in about 5 hours.
And then you could be done with all that.
And we're done with that. So while that process and the closing was going on, I started packing up the rest of the house and getting that into storage as well. The lucky thing was that my parents lived about 7 minutes away from us. So we had a place to live and stay. It was easy.
So you guys did a hybrid.
We did a hybrid.
You did have some short-term rental here.
We did.
And also you stayed there until you guys found, you didn't come until the house was closing, right?
Right. The first time I saw the house was when we got the keys. So.
And what did you guys do with your stuff? Because how long was it between the closing on your house and the closing on this house?
So we had our stuff in storage for about the first half of our house was in storage for the staging of the house. Mm-hmm. So we
just
had
to have it look super clean and clear.
Yep. because we're kind of maximalists, and that's not, you know, it might sell more now because it's becoming more popular, but we had the storage units, so we ended up having 3 storage units, which was expensive.
Yeah.
And to put it in perspective, when our moving truck got here, it was 19,000 pounds. So it's about 3/4 of a semi.
So you needed a little bit of space in your new house. Is there anything that you want to tell someone considering doing the same thing? Is there a piece of advice that you wish you had known before you did this, or something that you're just like, I wish someone had told me that?
The main thing, I think, especially if someone's moving from an area that does not have snow and intense winters, would be to find out from neighbors, local people, go to like the local ACE, whatever, find out like what winterizing things you really need to do and how early you need to do them. I think, I mean, even in middle of summer, it might even be too late. Like, do them as quickly as you can.
You mean if you need services?
If you need services, things before the freeze comes. Yep. Because I'm finding that people schedule stuff super early here. The food, you know, groceries are more expensive.
That was a big one for me too.
That's a big one.
I was surprised.
Now, it's famously known that we left behind H-E-B, which is like the best grocery store in the country, and that part's a little tough. Like, I'm sure I'll find a good avocado again someday.
Maybe.
but there's I did have a misconception that I had several people telling me that you know, the food here was going to be sort of bland and boring, like something you get in Prague, like just plate of brown stuff. And it's absolutely not true. And there's so many healthy, incredible options, and there's so many cool places like the Hmong Village, which is, you know, you're walking into this incredible food court with stuff that we couldn't get back home anywhere. So,
I mean, you kind of switched one, you know, like probably Tex-Mex for maybe more Asian food here.
Yeah.
Because we have a high Asian population in Minnesota. So,
but I've been finding some incredible, authentic Mexican food places.
And like I said, I would like your list.
Yes.
What kind of home or community were you looking for, and did you get it?
At first we thought maybe we could live in the city proper, and then we realized we're still in the suburb phase of our life. Like, for us, we wanted the sleepier town, something that was more of a small town feel for our daughter. And I mean, White Bear Lake, I couldn't think of a better place. We're near the city. We've got everything we need there.
All right, so you've been through a rather vigorous winter, more snow. It was pretty hard. I guess, is there anything, do you think that this is something to fear for people that are moving from Texas or another warmer climate?
No, not at all. In fact, we moved up here with, at the same time, coincidentally, as some friends of ours who have never lived in this kind of environment. And
they're so cute.
They're surviving. Now, if I've met people up here who say, you are crazy, why would you want to leave?
That's because everybody wants what they don't have.
Right. But there's always going to be people who live here who say, all I want is to live in Hawaii. Or someplace super hot and sunny all the time. Because
like in the depths of winter, you're thinking there's nothing better than just being warm. But here's my thought. Go to Mexico for a week.
Right. Well, yes.
And then come back and you'll be all right.
Yeah, go to Tulum. But for us, it was, I mean, our honeymoon was in Vancouver. And it was, you know, in May. It wasn't, you know, warm. And my husband was joking with me. He's like, yeah, we wanted a beach that was rocky and cold, and maybe there's a bear watching us from a distance. So this is perfect for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think that, like, if you're a person that doesn't ever want to be cold, this probably isn't the right place for you.
Right. exactly.
But, so there's definitely people that shouldn't live here.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's a lot of us that I guess the thing that strikes me is people that I talk to, because I don't know how many people I've helped from Austin. It's crazy. And one of my former clients, she is like you. She has done everything. Like, she's out there doing everything. And she said, she's like, you know, and then I met somebody from Minnesota in the airport or something like that. They weren't here. And they said that the people don't do anything. Like, the Minnesotans themselves don't do anything. They don't take advantage of what's here. I'm just curious about, like, your impression of, like, because if you look at a map, Minneapolis is in the middle of, like, an ocean of nothing.
Right.
Is it boring?
No. There's so much to do.
Like,
there's so much to do. There's so many cool eating areas and museum areas. Now, I have met people that don't appreciate what they've got up here. Definitely.
A lot of people take it for granted. Well, Susanna, is there anything else you want to tell the good people of YouTube?
This has been, like, our move, this has been a huge leap, a huge milestone for us moving cross country. It's been tough leaving behind the friends and the family, but we've been making new friends. We're, of course, keeping in touch with everybody. And there's so much going on here that I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything. Our daughter's thriving. The schools are great. There's real seasons. There's so much art that I haven't even touched. I haven't even touched the art scene, like the actual working artists here, seeing what's going on. There's so much to do. So
you don't regret it?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's the best move we've ever done.
And I'm asking, I told Susanna I wanted honest answers because it doesn't help anybody not to get, like, the honest answer. So, like, I'm not trying to do a commercial. I just want to know, like, is there something that would terrify somebody?
Well, one of the other things that was a little scary was, and it didn't last very long, was the idea of finding a realtor up here. Because my realtors that I've been working with were all back home. And I didn't have to think.
She's going to give me a pitch.
I am, because no, I didn't know how to do it. Because I did contact a couple just through a website, like, hey, you know, can you give me some ideas on areas and whatnot? But then our friend who was moving up here, when I announced that we were moving, she's like, oh, you need a realtor. Here, we've been working with her.
Linda's like, I love her.
But no, and then so that helped a lot. And you were super honest with us, which was I needed, because I wanted to be able to, like, go, I don't want this one.
I actually love when people are like that, because it helps a lot. Like, I don't want to guess either. You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking? And it's not my house.
Yeah.
You feel free to say whatever you want.
Yep.
All right, Susanna, I so appreciate this. You are amazing, and I'm very grateful. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.